Hello folks, and welcome back to True Crime Phenomenon. This is Josh coming back with another Jeremy Dewitte video. As way of introduction, Jeremy Dewitte is a serial police impersonator going back to his first arrest in 1998 when he brandished his police explorer's badge and stole $14 worth of gas. So obviously a long history back all the way going back to 1998 of all of Jeremy's felonious career. However, we're going to go ahead and skip over that for now. I'll be making an overview video shortly. However, let's get on with this particular video. Now, this is part 3 of the Sergeant Justin Wall, Lieutenant Cal Wacker's interview with the Professional Standards Division. It took place on May 10th of 2021 at 10:54 a.m. Now, this is an administrative investigation into the conduct of Sergeant Vidler and Corporal Ramsey regarding their prolonged interaction with Jeremy Dewitte. Now, during this particular interview, he talks about Jeremy calling Major Hosey and Wacker while he's going through the car wash, and he's recording them like he always does because he records everything, to request his property back and to get his vehicle out of tow. The funny thing is he gives very specific directions, which Jeremy clearly doesn't follow because he's Jeremy. He doesn't have to follow directions, rules, or anything like that. Now, another thing that he mentions that kind of stood out to me is that he was not invited to any meetings above captain. So there was a lot of stuff that was going on where he was not involved with anything regarding his direct subordinates. So the person that should be involved is not. And he talks about how in the beginning this was supposed to be a RICO case, which I think is telling. This really is a RICO type case. Lieutenant Wacker also said that internal affairs informed Michael Breen of Jeremy's character. Now, the reason this is important is because they accuse Vidler and Ramsey of going to all these different places saying, hey, Jeremy's this, Jeremy's that, he's done all these bad things, he's a felon, all these different characterizations of Jeremy, which happen to be true, but they blame it on Vidler and Ramsey. Now, I agree that if they did do that, it's probably not a good idea to be telling a potential investor, business partner, client, attorney, etc., whatever. There's plenty of tools out there where you can do the research on a vendor or whatever type of relationship that you have. I do, however, find it interesting that it was the Professional Standards Division that told Mr. Breen of his character and not Vidler or Ramsey or somebody else. So it just makes me question, kind of the ethics and how things are being handled within the department. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of it. I'll catch you on the other side.
So if you had known about his request, would you have met with him?
I don't know that I'd have gone up onto I-4. But I don't know where they were. My biggest concern at that point was that Vidler wasn't alone with him, that Reeves was with him. And that's what I was told. So.
Okay. Did you ever speak with Mr. Dewitte?
I spoke with Mr. Dewitte a day or two after when he wanted his property released. He left a message on my phone, and actually I talked to him just prior to coming down here. Major Hosey wanted to meet with me and Ramsey. So I called him back, and of course he told me, this has been recording, it's my office. I found out later that he was in a car wash on his cell phone, but he records everything. He says, I want to get my property back. I said, it's been released, because I had told Vidler that morning, if it ain't released, release it, because we were unarrested him. And I told him it was released. He asked me about the motorcycle. I said, well, go down there, and if it's going to cost, he said, who's paying for it? I said, go down there, and if they don't give it back to you without pay, contact the sheriff's office and work that out with them.
Okay.
Instead of doing that, he came down here to the bubble and demanded to see, I don't know who he demanded to see, a whole bunch of people. And I know that because I was sitting in Hosey's office when he got the phone call that he was in there. Yeah, and I'd have to say between that time frame, he probably didn't go to see if he could get his motorcycle back. He just came down here to
okay. But, so you never spoke, you've only spoken with him after the arrest?
I spoke to him on the phone to get his property.
Right.
He had called and left a message.
At the time of his arrest, though?
No, I never
spoke
talked to him that day. I'll be honest with you, I count on one hand how many times I've talked to Mr. Dewitte.
Okay.
Probably twice.
Do you know if any lieutenants or captains spoke with Mr. DeWitte that day? Were you?
I have no idea.
Okay. Did you review the body-worn camera of the traffic stop?
I did not.
You said you were not present for the subsequent interview by Corporal Ramsey. Did you watch that interview
I
on
did
body-worn
not.
camera? I'm sorry. You did not.
I saw part of it. I'll
Okay.
put it that way. I saw part of it. I think one of the guys was watching it one morning because I think that's on some website, and he was watching it. But I got better things to do than watch 200 interview with DeWitte.
Okay. In the portion that you saw, did you see anything that concerned you?
No, it's kind of the beginning of it, I think.
All right. Other than what you've already discussed, what is your knowledge of the investigation with Sergeant Vidler and Corporal Ramsey that they're working against Mr. DeWitte and Metro State?
You
I
mean
know you kind of went over
as far as
how much knowledge do you have of the investigation?
of the charges that they brought against him and all that, or which one are you talking about?
The whole
last
investigation.
one? Well, I was there from day one,
Okay.
but like I said, it was kind of between the captain, Ramsey, and Vidler.
Okay.
They would have meetings, and if there was a meeting above the captain, I never got invited to those.
Okay.
I can't recall one that I was at. I would get called into the captain's office every once in a while to, I don't know, it was more to, I don't want to say chew me out, but to make sure that Vidler and I got to be honest, I told Captain Carpenter at one point, I said, I'm taking direction from a sergeant and a corporal because I am not privy to any of these meetings with anybody. It's you and them. And he get a little upset, and he wrote me up, gave me counseling for him for some other stuff after that. But yeah.
So, are you aware of Sergeant Vidler contacting insurance companies regarding Mr. DeWitte's personal or business insurance policies?
I think that was mentioned that they were, because during the initial investigation, he had no insurance on the vehicles, or it was somebody else's insurance. I don't know, but I think that was mentioned in passing with
Mentioned in what context?
that the insurance companies were looking at him for having either. He's running a business, but I think he had, personal insurance. I don't know.
Okay, so were you aware that Sergeant
I
Vidler was
didn't
the
know
one
how.
contacting?
I didn't know that. No. I mean, I knew that there was insurance companies were involved.
Okay.
IRS was involved. I mean, in the beginning, this was going to go RICO. This whole case.
Okay. Specifically with the insurance companies, is that common practice? You've been in the motor unit for how long?
Well, I don't know if it's common practice. In what aspect? I mean, if you mean I stop
you pull
somebody
over for not having insurance.
I write them a
is it
ticket, and they go
common?
prove that they have insurance to get the ticket taken away, or they take it to court and prove it in front of a judge.
Okay. Would you ever say it's common practice to call the insurance company and have conversations
I don't
with
know
the insurance
that.
companies?
I don't know that this investigation would be called common practice for the motor unit.
Okay.
I think it was just kind of because it was traffic. They've got, yeah.
Okay. Are you aware of Sergeant Vidler contacting private businesses that are clients of Mr. DeWitte's company? So Mr. DeWitte has a
I
funeral
believe
service and-
I believe they were during the investigation. I think they were contacting some of the funeral homes or the people that were hiring him to try and get receipts and stuff to show whatever that was to show. But I think they contacted some of the funeral homes.
Okay. So you believe that was part of the investigation?
I know it was.
And are you aware of Sergeant Vidler communicating to those companies about Mr. DeWitte's transgressions? So
No, sir.
disseminating his criminal information?
No, sir.
So as a manager, if you became aware of a deputy or any subordinate, sergeant, anybody telling private businesses about the transgressions of the character of one of their
I believe that was done. I believe that was
appropriate.
I believe that was done in this office
Okay.
by your lieutenant to Counselor Breen when he came down to make a complaint on, as it was told to me, the complaint was going to go away because they were going to tell, basically, the attorney, looking for a word, what his bad guy was, or bad, I said, how you doing that? I said, you can't show them that. They said they were just going to explain to them his character, and that was, because
How did you become aware of that? What conversation did
well,
you
I got a complaint, I believe, or I got a call from either Dewitte or from the carpenter that there was a complaint coming down from attorney, I think it's Breen, and I might have talked to Dewitte on the phone, and I said, what's the deal or whatever, and he said, hey, we're gonna take care of it. We're gonna have. I think the lieutenant down here sat down with him when he brought the way it was explained to me. Like I said, it was told to me was they were going to explain to him that his client wasn't the greatest person in the world, and that and the ending of that was I was told Bream said I was just asked to drop it off. I'm not making a complaint. And he walked out.
Okay.
And that's a video of something that happened up in Lake County or something.
Okay. And that was a complaint that
It
was
has
brought
nothing
forward.
to do with this, as far as I can. Yeah.
But so as far as Sergeant Bidler going to these businesses and speaking to the character of somebody that they do business with, do you feel that that's appropriate?
I don't know that he did that.
Okay.
So-
Well, if he did do it, if there's an accusation that he did do it, do you feel that
Well,
that's appropriate
I wouldn't.
for a deputy?
No, I wouldn't say that it's appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah.
In other words, if it was done with the intention of disrupting
His business.
Mr. DeWitte's business, would that be appropriate? For
Well,
somebody
I
wearing
don't see a
uniform?
problem with telling these people that what he's doing is a violation of almost every traffic statute in the state of Florida, and that he's not, licensed, bonded, or whatever. I don't see a problem with that. I think you're looking out more for the business than you are, Mr. DeWitte and
So if it's specific to the traffic,
yeah, hey,
stuff.
that what he's doing is not, running red lights, stopping people, he's
Okay.
violating traffic statutes. I don't see that that's a problem.
okay. What about if he's passing on information that Mr. DeWitte had raped somebody and in the past and things like that?
Oh, I don't know that he did that, but I don't think a deputy can talk about anybody's criminal history, can they? I don't know. I don't see a problem with telling somebody, yeah, he's a convicted felon.
Okay. From your discussions with and I know you said they were brief and they mostly occurred after the arrest, specific to the March 23rd incident. But did Sergeant Bidler or Corporal Ramsey make any statements regarding their history with Mr. DeWitte and how that may have impacted or influenced their decision to make a physical arrest on that day?
There was a conversation in the major's office a few days later with Ramsey and me. And I took that conversation to be the major warning Ramsey to stay away from DeWitte and Metro State. And when the major was talking about this, Ramsey looked at me and goes, well, I interviewed him. And I thought the major was a little put back by that. He didn't know that.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one as much as I enjoyed making it. We've got part 4 coming up soon that'll wrap up this interview. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.